Though I specifically address primarily social and dating issues on this channel, what I'm going to say today can carry over into your professional life as well, because what I want to discuss with you is the importance of your first impression. Now, people think that, people make snap judgments and that that's wrong. They shouldn't do that. They should give me a chance. Guys cry about this a lot because women, we make a judgment about somebody in what seems like 5 seconds, and that upsets them. But what I know is that psychologically, that is a trait that most humans will utilize when we first meet somebody. We're making these, what if you want to call them a snap judgment, I guess you can. But basically, you're using all of your senses, your innate, animalistic, spiritual senses to determine if this person is safe, if this person fits you, if this person is sane, how appropriate they are, what you have in common with them or not. All kinds of judgments and assessments are going on in the first few seconds of meeting somebody. Now, psychologists say that we have the ability to make a pretty accurate determination about other people in just a few seconds. They call this thing thin slicing. And I was like, thin slicing, that's, kind of a new term since I study psychology. So, let me do a little investigation. But what it does is it's the concept that you take like a very small portion of time or interaction with somebody, like a thin slice of something, and using that, you draw conclusions emotionally and psychologically about how you would be interacting with someone. So in dating, the woman can turn around and she thin slices a dude, right? And then she determines that he's not, it's just not going to work out. And guys, in referencing the video I did the other day about reading women's social cues, don't get that. She's already sized you up and she's already dismissed you. So if you're not getting any cues from her to approach and you do it anyway, all you're going to do is set yourself up to get your feelings hurt because she's already determined that you are not the one. Less than 5 seconds is what psychologists say it takes. So I thought, wow, this is really something. I mean, I was aware of it being very quick, but they've, they've done the work, they've done the research to actually time it, and with shocking accuracy. So when you see some, and then you start second guessing yourself, right? You start being like, well, I was too hasty. He's probably nice. I should give him a chance. And, this and that. And well, I guess he's not that bad. And this, and then you just, you waste time because you already knew that he wasn't right for you. You already felt it in your gut, but you didn't trust yourself. And so you move forward and continue to interacting with somebody that you already determined, excuse me, was not somebody right for you. So, what are some of the things that people look for? I mean, we can determine if a dude is cool, chill, whatever, or if he's like creepy and weird. You make that in like 2 seconds, if that. But what you're kind of assessing are a variety of traits that include if they're likable, if they're polite, if you feel like you can trust them, if they are a dominant or submissive personality. You can assess their confidence. Sometimes that's done by observing how they carry themselves. Does this person stand tall and strong, or is this person hunched back and looking at the ground? That kind of body posture indicates a marked lack of confidence and low self-esteem. So someone who is looking for somebody who can be a good match for them on that level will likely not choose that individual as a partner because they know it would be too much work to try to shore them up. Sometimes this they call these macro traits is what you're observing, and you kind of make these assessments. We call it intuition when it's women, but it's like a subconscious kind of thing. You can't really, when the scientists were asking people and kind of investigating how they were making their judgments, very few people could really give them an answer on what it was that they noticed or what it was. So it's a gut level subconscious kind of response. And you're looking at their gestures and you're looking at their face and their posture and their voice tone. I mean, all kinds of things could come into play before you would make that judgment. But I think a lot of singles don't really understand that this is an important part of the mate selection process, as well as the process for determining, people, even just like a platonic friend. Is this person trustworthy? Are they appropriate with their words and questions and body language and things like that? So you have a lot going on, and that's why the first impression is so important because even though that phrase says, you only get one chance to make a first impression, it's absolutely true. You cannot, there's no do-overs on that. Once someone has formed an opinion of you as being stupid, of you being rude or being crude, ignorant, sloppy, nasty stuff, just uncouth, whatever opinion they have formed of you, that pretty much establishes the basis for them interacting with you or opting not to. So I say all this because I want women especially to understand, you don't let people guilt trip you if you determine that an individual is not your cup of tea. They're going to whine, they're going to wheedle, they're going to beg, they're going to try to talk you into giving them what they want. You have to stand strong and trust yourself. That's one thing I think a lot of women just don't do. They don't have the confidence to trust themselves in situations where their inner woman or whatever you want to call it is telling them not to go down. Don't go that way. Don't do that. And you want to second guess yourself because you want to quote be nice and try to work with people and all this old shit. And I'm like, please. So then, okay, so say they make the first cut, right? So they made the first cut, the first impression, and this, some of this goes for guys too. It's a little different though. For guys, the woman's going to make a first impression on a guy. He's going to be looking for slightly different things. But since I'm talking to women right now, we'll get to the guys in another video. But one thing that will make a good impression is for you to consider when people are seeing you, your appearance, how important your appearance is. I talked about your body language and your demeanor. That's how you conduct yourself. Your mannerisms that you may present. Do you have some kind of nervous things that you do, scratching or itching or digging in your nose, or whatever it is, whatever little thing it is that you do. People are gonna be looking at that, and they're evaluating you. And they're trying to determine if you are somebody that they want to be bothered with. So whether it's whether it's socially or professionally, your first impression is key. So how can you improve your first impression? Well, you want to be I hate to use that word because I think I probably overuse it, appropriate. Now, this varies. What does appropriate mean? That means for the situation. And it's going to change. It's going to be different based on your age, based on your gender, based on the situation, and it's different. Going to be different on the location. So you're the only one who can really make a determination about that. I'm just saying that you have to be appropriate. Now, what's not appropriate? For example, let me just tell you about this. Okay, you got your little league game, right? So all the parents out there in jeans and tennis shoes. Here come this dude, one of the fathers, with his new girlfriend. Why did this heifer show up in stilettos and some skinny, belly out kind of thing? It was kind of a not so warm day. but she just had to be like half naked and with these stilettos on, trying to walk around in these bleachers, you know. And we all looking at her like, bitch, you about to fall and break every bone in your body messing around with these bleachers like that. But she, you know, that's how she came. Now, was that appropriate? Absolutely not. The guy she was with looked embarrassed because everybody was staring at her and rolling their eyes. She was doing too much. So in a situation like that, you know, if you don't really understand where you're going, ask. Ask, you know, well, what's the, you know, where are we going, so I know how to dress. I mean, communication is great. So, you know, are you like you want to meet your dude's parents or something? You know, you're going to have lunch with them or something. No, you don't wear the most low cut, back out, tightest dress that you can find. You put on something that looks, you know, like semi professional, sensible. Something you might wear, I don't know, to a graduation or to church or a wedding or something. I mean, you know, you want to look nice, but you don't want to. You don't need to have all your assets hanging out for this on display. That's not appropriate. Things like that. You want to make it so that those people have a good first impression of you, and it won't embarrass, you know, the person that you're with. Part of that is approaching people with a great smile. You know, being confident, carrying yourself as a confident person, being open, having the ability to keep up a conversation with, you know, just social chit chat, a little polite, what they call it, small talk. That goes a long way. That really helps make people feel comfortable. Also, being positive. Now, you can be positive without even saying a word. You know, it's all in how you conduct yourself, your demeanor. Head held high, smiling, and looking pleasant. You know, your facial expression, looking pleasant. You know, you grimacing, you got your mean mug on and stuff, scowling at folks like your name is Ice Cube. You know that's not gonna that's not gonna work too well. It works for him because he's a dude and he's a rapper and he got fuck you money. He don't care. But you know, for everyone else who's trying to get coupled up, these are just some things to make you be, you know, to be aware of. I'm not telling you you have to do them. What I'm saying is be aware of the fact that people are they're looking at these kinds of things about you when they first lay eyes on you, when you first meet them, before you even say any words to them, or maybe right around that time. You know, your greeting and everything that happened right before that is part of this thin slicing assessment that people will do. If it's going to be important for you to establish a relationship with this individual, at least spend time with them trying to get to know them, you want them to be open to interacting with you. And that is what gets your dates off to a good start. A lot of people just don't have, they're not aware of this, and they think, well, you know, I'm going to spend this 30 minutes and getting to know this person or this hour, whatever. But you've already ruined it by your initial presentation. It's over. They just kind of sitting there being polite, but it's over. So basically, just remember that, you know, you have just a few seconds. Just, you know, make it count. You walk into a room, you walk up to your new date, your little internet date or whatever, blind date, whatever you got going on. Try to be cognizant of what your face looks like, what your posture looks like, how you're stepping, and make sure that you know, have a smile. This is irrelevant. This has nothing to do with, like, you know, if you're overweight, underweight, you know, whatever. That's irrelevant, because there are, you know, just as many big women married and happily in love. Men gotta love men happily in love with them, as there are women who have regular, you know, slim body size. So that in itself doesn't mean anything. You don't have to be the most beautiful woman either. What people are looking for is someone that they can relate to, someone who they feel like understands them, is on the same page with them, that they have something in common with, who's similar to them. And those judgments are all made within 10 seconds. Okay? So keep that in mind as you move forward in dating. We'll be going into these kinds of things some more. One topic that's been suggested, women want to know how to get a guy to fall in love with them. And that's not rocket science. So I'll share my tips on that in the next video, or, you know, something soon. Maybe not the next, but soon. But let me know if you have any questions. Post them in the comment section below. This is Deborah Cooper from survivingdating.com discussing first impressions and making it count. We'll have another video out for you guys in a few days. Thanks for listening.